disruption. Let me restart again. Yeah. So what is Generation Z? Z is basically a short term for Zoomers. Most of us these days work on Zoom kind of a technology, right? We try to do the video calling, we try to do the video lecturing, telemedicine, etc., is coming into picture. So that's why this Z is for Zoomers. Now, this particular generation is being born between 1990s and 2000s. So if you understand that most of our students are Generation Z people, most of them are born either in 1990s or starting of 2000. So they are part of this generation. Now, what this Generation Z is, it is between millennial, like most of us are millennial. This particular word you must have heard various times, millennials. So we all are part of this generation, but our kids or our students are part of next two millennial generation, which is known as Generation Z. And the next generation which is coming into picture in 2010 and later on is known as Alpha generation. So I will discuss brief aspects of all these generations, how they are different to each other, right? Now, this particular Generation Z is being dubbed as digital natives. Why they are digital natives? Because from the childhood, since they were born, they had a mobile in their hands. They knew about the computers, they knew about the internet. Not any generation prior to Generation Z. Even millennials who born in 1970s and 1980s did not have that kind of access to internet as well as computers and mobile phones. But this particular generation is born in an era where they can see the mobile phones, they can see the computers since their childhood itself, right? So they take all these things for granted. Like they can't see the world without these things. Like the people who born in 1970s and 1980s were there without mobile phones, without internet for some years. Even we were there without the portable Wi-Fi or portable internet technology for some years in our childhood. But these people did not see that kind of a time. So they take all these things for granted. They don't think the world beyond these things. They can't see the world without these things as well. And that's why they are known as first digital natives. Means to say they are the first generation which are native to this digital age. Okay, so this is what the Generation Z is. So let's go to a little bit deeper understanding of the characteristics of generations. So now these are different generations. They are being defined based on the characteristics, based on the different kind of traits that has been shown by the people. So if you see, if you're born between 1960s and 1979, there were these kind of contexts going on. You can see the meritocracy. There were examinations, mass scale examinations, meritocracy, meritorious students got the job, something like that. That kind of environment was there during 1960s to 80s, right? That was era of known as Generation X, right? Next is Generation Y. Some of us might be born during this particular time, known as millennials. You must have heard this word mostly during the news channels, during the internet surfing, millennials. Mostly those people who are born between 1980s to 1994 are known as millennials. And what are the various contexts during this particular generation born? It was during the context of globalization. If you see, globalization started during 1980s only. Before that, there were nation states and there were protectionist environments. But after 1980s, there was globalization coming into picture. Internet came into picture, but it was not that widely used, right? It was there, but not that much widely used. Not everyone was surfing the internet. Some particular users were using it, right? So these kind of people who think globally, who know about the internet but are not so much of native to the internet age are known as millennials. And most of the current research is on this particular generation. But the next generation, which is Generation Z, which is born between 1995 to 2010, they are different kind of people. They have seen the social networks from starting of their age. They have seen Twitter, they have seen Orkut, they have seen Facebook from starting. Now they are seeing the WhatsApp, Share, etc. Different kind of short social networks. Even millennials did not see the social networks from their starting. But these people have different kind of networking environment. They have different kind of realities, virtual realities coming into picture, audio visual realities, different kind of things are going on in this area. So all these things come into picture in this particular generation. So this particular generation has a different mindset than the previous all the generations. They have different kind of traits. They try to go to internet for everything. Even the millions now going to internet for everything. Whatever questions come into mind, you go to the Google, you ask directly, and you try to communicate it to as many people as you think. Like if you know something, you try to communicate it to maximum people through social media. This is the traits of the younger generations now. If you see the generations which are earlier, if you see the generations of our parents or our grandparents, they don't have that kind of a trait. They know the information, they will discuss it with family, but they will adopt to this social network very slowly. They will not do it very fast. Like, but these younger generations, they are, because they are digital natives, they have born into era from starting. They have the access to internet from starting. They have the access to social media, social network. So they have a different kind of characteristics. Now that's why it becomes very important to understand the mindset of these people, because these are the people which are our students and we need to teach them. So we must understand the mentality by which they are going on, so that we can deliver a better education, we can make them a better citizen. So that's why this particular lecture, why artificial intelligence is important for them. So these are the various characteristics. So born with access to internet and portable digital technology from childhood. This is the first generation, right? Now, second important characteristic is that they are hyper cognitive. Now, if you see here, there is an explosion of information. If you just write one keyword on Google and you will find hundreds of websites on the same particular theme or particular keyword. So this particular generation has the characteristic to extract the information from as many sources as possible. Like most of the times, what happened in earlier generations, we had newspapers. Generally, we get the news from the newspaper and we understand something. There were books as well. We can understand one particular aspect of information. But this particular generation has access to, enormous amount of information, and they can correlate one information with other. Let's suppose one particular theme is there. What is happening on this particular theme in India? What is happening on this particular theme in Europe? What is happening on this particular theme in USA? And accordingly, they generate some kind of information in their contextual mind. And that's why even if you ask a very young child these days some very critical informative questions, they will be very quick to answer. And generally we see that these days children are very advanced. Why they are advanced? Because they are hyper cognitive. They are getting information from different sources. Their mind is able to correlate them analytically, and finally they can generate some higher level of information in their mind. That's what the difference is. The difference is not in the mentality or genetic of the people. The difference is in the environment in which they are living. The third is that they're pragmatic and financially minded. And these two terms are basically correlated as well. Shrewd consumers. Like, you know what? These days, whenever people go to the market and buy something, they research about it. Even if you buy any very simple garments as well, then also you research online. First, I will see what is the price of this particular t-shirt online. Then I will go to market. I will check whether this t-shirt is, cheaper in market or online. If it is online cheaper, then I will buy it from online, something like that. So they are shrewd consumers. They have the information, they have the analytics engine, and that's why they can some kind of program their mind in that way that they can become pragmatic. They can the very financially minded decisions. This is a different characteristic of Generation Z, which was not there in earlier generations. We will discuss more characteristics of Generation Z. Why I am focusing more on characteristics? Because if you understand the characteristics of generation, then you will understand very easily where we can implement artificial intelligence. Because this Generation Z is going to be next youth in their 20s and their 30s. Even if you are an entrepreneur and you understand the characteristics of this particular generation, then you can create some kind of startup which can target these mentalities, which can target these characteristics and generate value for them and generate revenue for yourself. And they are politically progressive as well. A very recent, if you see, there are various kind of political environments going on in the world. Earlier we did not had that much information about these particular scenario, but in this particular generation, because we have different level of information, so these people can take a stand on it. They have their own stand because they can some kind of analyze the information, some kind of implement the data mining engines and find out what is my political stand on this particular situation. So all these are characteristics of generation Z. Now this is a generation Z, which is a next generation, which is coming out, right now they're in 10s and 20s. So first of all, they are digital natives and they are social. Everything, whatever you do in a day, they try to socialize it. They try to use various social networking engines to socialize with the other world. Earlier, this was not there. So this is the first characteristic. Second is they are multitaskers. Due to the advent of mobile phones and internet technology, you can see that within a particular day, you can complete various tasks. Earlier, for the banking, you have to go to bank. For the post office, you have to go to post office. For other things, you have to go to a market. Now you don't have to go anywhere. You just sit in your home and you can do everything within minutes. That's why this particular generation is native generation to what is known as multitasking. The third is entrepreneurs. Even if you see these days, the teenagers are becoming entrepreneurs. Why? Because they have access to the information, they can do the multitasking, and it is very much easy because of this particular kind of advent of technology to become entrepreneur. So that's why this generation is the generation which is early entrepreneurs. Earlier, we have seen the people getting into business in 30s, 40s, 50s. The very successful people are in that age only. But these days, we have seen that a teenager created this particular startup. Why? Because of the environment, because of this technology which is there. Next is educated. The education level is much higher. Now, there is a kind of a flag here. There is a kind of a check here. This education does not mean school education. Okay, this is not school education. This generation is more educated. Reason, they have various ways and platforms to get educated. Even in Corona, we have seen that if we did not have the internet technology, if we did not have the artificial intelligence based education apps, then how can you educate the people for almost 2 years? But due to the advent of technology, they can get education from various sources. That's why they are more educated than the earlier generations. Next is they are philanthropists because of they can take the stand on various things due to the cumulative, contextual analysis of information. And they have much stand on, environmental situation, on political situation, and they become philanthropists as well. For this, they are digital natives. We have already discussed about this. Interactive, as they are on social media, multitasking, they are more interactive and they have more management skills than the earlier generations. Tech savvy. This is very important thing because they are digital natives from starting. They are starting with these particular technology. They take it for granted. They are tech savvy. It's not difficult for them to learn any new technology. If you see a young child, the particular child or can learn the new technology faster than even the older people, because they are tech savvy from their childhood itself. Less focused, very much important, this particular thing, because all the time you surf the internet, you just scroll down, it becomes, and you are less focused on the information. Because what you do is scrolling, you are just checking the information, you are not focusing on that. Even if you see yourself, you don't read word by word everything written on the website, you scroll down. That's why it is less focused generation. This is a characteristic of generation. And last is cautious, because this particular generation is after the Great Recession. It is more careful on their expenses. We have already seen that they are more financially minded people. So all these are the various characteristics of generation Z. So if you know the characteristics of generation Z, now if I ask you that how artificial intelligence coming into picture in each of these characteristics, In social media, you can put artificial intelligence. In multitasking, you can put artificial intelligence. In entrepreneurship, you can put artificial intelligence. In education, artificial intelligence is very important. In philanthropy, artificial intelligence is coming. Interaction, artificial intelligence is coming. We know the chatbots, right? And in the focused and cautions, we have seen various kind of applications like Grammarly is coming. Even if you are writing some wrong spelling, that Grammarly will automatically understand it and will correct it for you. So all these things, because of artificial intelligence, you can give more value in all these characteristics of Generation Z. So you can find out various ideas of implementing the next generation startups if you understand the characteristics of next generation. So I hope so far we have discussed about the characteristics. So I hope everybody understood the characteristics. Any doubt so far? Any question? Any query? No? Shall we move ahead then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go to some analytical aspects of Generation Z. So the most used devices by the Generation Z are smartphones.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. The thing is, like, your slide is not changing.
Oh. Now is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just give me a minute. Let me check. Now this particular slide you guys were able to see this
Yes,
particular.
sir.
Okay, now
No, sir.
I am on different slide.
No, sir.
Is it visible to anyone or all of you are on this same slide?
So I can see Generation Z.
Yeah, right now I am on slide in which Generation Z is written, born between 1995 to 2009. Most used devices. Is it what you guys see?
Seventh slide.
Okay, you are on 7th slide. Okay, so this particular slide is not visible at all.
Now it is Generation Z, born between 1995 and 2009.
Okay, so let me. Is it now?
Okay, sir. It's fine. No.
We are on 8th slide.
No. Okay. Okay, now it's fine, right? Let's move ahead.
Okay.
So,
Yes, sir.
okay. So, this Generation Z, which I was discussing, is born between, I have already discussed about these things. So, what are the most used devices by this Generation Z? Smartphone. Smartphone is the most used device. Almost in a week, almost 16 hours is being spent on a smartphone. This is a very much, lesser kind of a calculation, very optimistic estimate. I'm damn sure it is much more than that. On television, 13.2 hours, on laptop, 10 hours in a week. We are talking about average hours in a week. Right. So now here we can get the idea that if we want to promote something, the smartphone is the best way to promote something. If you give ad on a smartphone, if you are giving your applications on a smartphone, that's why most of the companies are switching from their websites to the smartphone applications. If you go to websites, they will say download our application. It's because most of the Generation Z people, which is the next generation coming into picture, are more of a smartphone kind of people. They use it for almost the whole day and a whole week as well. So that's why companies has to target it. Now the question is, we the educators or the people in academia, how this particular data is important to us. Because smartphones are mostly used, smartphones are a little bit affordable nowadays as well. So the education industry, the assignments, the management of the university, everyone has to get on the smartphones. Everyone has to get into the applications, or at least to the website, so that the students can attend the lectures, the student can get their documents, get the administrative approvals, everything on a smartphone. That kind of adoption has to be there in the universities, in the academia. So this is what I wanted to discuss here. Now, this is so far what we have discussed is the correct Generation Z. Now, you have a very good idea now that what exactly we are talking about. what is generation Z and what are the characteristics of this particular generation Z. Now I will move ahead to artificial intelligence. I hope this particular topic, all of you are already aware. If you are not, I will take it from scratch, no issue at all. So artificial intelligence is the simulation of human intelligence in machines. Everybody of us know that are programmed to think like humans and mimic their actions. Just like our neurons work, just like our mind works, we try to make the computer intelligent so that it automatically takes the decisions, just like the human mind takes. Now, human mind takes decisions on what? Our neurons are connected to various kind of, uh, different locomotor activities of our body, our hands, our eyes, our nose. We get some kind of stimuli from these things. We get some kind of stimuli from our eye, and accordingly, our mind interprets that and takes the action. Similarly, the computer has to take actions based on some stimuli, some external data. Right? Now, this stimuli can come in different ways. This stimuli may be a text. We are giving text to the data, and based on this particular text, we are training the models. We are making the machine learning models, and accordingly, our machine is becoming intelligent based on the text data. And then how it can be used? It can be used for text recognition, speech to text conversion, etc., etc. If we go more, if we are giving the stimuli in visual format, let's suppose we are giving some kind of pictures to it, we are giving videos to it, then we can train our models, and accordingly we can use it for the applications of computer vision or augmented reality. We can go more to the interactive AI. Like these days, this is the most important thing. Like everywhere in every website, even if you go to IRCTC website, of even if you go to the bank websites, you will find chatbots. Even if you go to any of the websites like tech websites as well, education technology websites coming into picture, and academy is coming into picture, Byju's is coming into picture. These are, I'm just giving just examples, not for promotion, for just take it for examples. So all these people are using chatbots or smart personal assistant. As soon as you open a website, there will be a pop-up to say, how may I help you? Something like that. That there is no physical person sitting behind it. That's completely machine oriented. It's completely machine operated, and the interactive AI is going on behind it. So that kind, third stimuli is there. Fourth stimuli, functional stimuli. If you see a prediction in next decade, there will be less human to machine interaction. There will be more of machine to machine interaction. M2M interactions will increase. As soon as there will be advent of 5G, because the speed will increase, the pipe will increase, basically the bandwidth, everything will increase. So the machine to machine interaction will also increase. Our homes will be smart, our education institutions, colleges will be smart. In every classroom, there will be different kind of sensors. There will be movement sensors, there will be fire sensors, there will be different sensors will be there, and all of them will be talking to each other. All of them will be changing their state by talking to each other. So that is a different kind of stimuli to this particular artificial intelligence engine, and that is known as functional AI. Functional AI. Okay, so these works on IoT solutions, robotics, etc. Last is analyticals. Analytical AI is very much important in marketing, banking, etc. Because these days, all these marketing activities are also automated, everything. So they do what? They do the sentiment analysis. They do the supplier risk assessment. Now, one question I want to ask. All these things are being done by artificial intelligence, and you understand the characteristics of generation Z as well. Now, do you see this generation Z basically is fueling the artificial intelligence? This generation Z is basically behind the sustenance of artificial intelligence. What are your views? What do you think? Because I have already discussed that artificial intelligence needs some kind of a stimulus. It needs some kind of data to work on it, to train the models. And you see the characteristics of generation Z. These are interactive people, these are social people, these are multitasking people, digital native people. So are these, because of these particular characteristics, fueling the artificial intelligence? Any view on this? Because if you understand these kind of correlations, then only the motive of this particular lecture is solved. It is not that kind of a heavy technical algorithmic lecture. It is just to understand that how AI is beneficial for the next gen people. So basically, due to these characteristics, due to the social thing, everything they share on social media, they go to social media to ask for recommendations. The artificial intelligence gets the data from it. And based on this data only, the particular chatbots are working, the text recognition is working, computer vision is working, and sentiment analysis is completely dependent on that only. So AI is being fueled by this generation Z. Okay, so these are the features of AI. I have taken these slides from some other websites. So deep learning, we all understand what is the meaning of deep learning. Facial recognition is being done by the artificial intelligence. Automation is done. Data ingestion has to be taken. Cloud computing is coming into picture. Quantum computing is coming into picture. Chatbots are coming into picture. All these things, I think all of us understand already. So I will not go into the much details of this particular thing. Now this is a little bit, terminological thing. What is narrow AI and what is general AI? So if you understand the general AI, this is what we are generally, not doing right now. This is what we are going to do in future. This is what we are doing right now. Whenever we talk about artificial intelligence, whatever things are happening in the world, they are happening here only. Actually, what they are doing is they are getting data from different platforms. They are generating the models, and based on that, they are doing prediction or chatbots or everything like that. This is not what exactly human mind does. This is not exactly what human mind does. Do we have various data points to train our mind? No, we don't, right? Our mind can work even if some very new kind of trivial kind of situation comes into picture, then also our mind can take very quick decision and take action on it. But that is not the scenario of current AI. That is a narrow AI. Basically, that's based on the data. We train the models and accordingly only our AI will work. Even the robotics work on this particular kind of technology. But we want to go beyond that. We want to make general artificial intelligence into the machines. Why? What is the meaning of general artificial intelligence? That it self-learns the reasons. Self-learns and reasons. This is what our mind does. Even without any data point, even without any learning, our mind can take decision on any situation. This is what we exactly want to do in AI. So that's what the future of AI is. That's what, like, even now the work on this is going on. We have seen that some artificial intelligence systems are coming, which can self-learn things, which themselves can create models. We don't have to train any model at all, right? So these kind of artificial intelligence systems will do full range of human cognitive abilities, and these guys take one domain knowledge and then correlate this particular domain knowledge in other domains as well. Right now, let's suppose a child is there which is learning in school a particular kind of physics, let's suppose. In the real world, if he goes and if he found some example, then he can correlate that kind of examples there. So that kind of general intelligence we want to put in the machine as well, which can reason about the situation and which can take the decision even if there is no data point for learning is there. This is what we are moving into the artificial intelligence next. But the current consideration is narrow AI. Narrow AI is completely dependent on labeled examples. Reflexive task with no understanding. The machine is not understanding anything. It is not reasoning anything. It is basically learning the models and how this particular thing is being done because of the huge data being generated by which generation? By generation Z. Because they are using huge amount of digital devices, because they are using huge amount of social media, they are using huge amount of multiple tasking things. They are generating data, and that data is being used for artificial intelligence, which is known as narrow artificial intelligence. Okay. Now the other terminology is what is strong artificial intelligence and what is weak artificial intelligence. Now this is the weak artificial intelligence is basically what we are doing, and this is what we want to do. So weak artificial intelligence is generally developed or used for specific application domains. You must have heard about voice recognition, character recognition, expert system, natural language processing is there. All these things are basically for a particular application domain for language processing, let's suppose. For the expert system, there is some kind of database by which the expert advice is being given. The recommendation systems, all these are part of weak artificial intelligence. In standard work on artificial intelligence, this formulate is the assertion that machines could possibly act intelligently is called the weak AI hypothesis, but that is not exactly what we want to do with the machines. We want to go from narrow AI to general AI. Narrow AI is basically using what? Weak artificial intelligence. We want to go to general AI in future, which is a strong artificial intelligence. The form of artificial intelligence which has the same intellectual capability as the humans and even surpass them. We have seen various kind of artificial intelligence machines coming into picture by Google, by Apple. We have seen that have beaten even the chess masters in very few seconds, which can do the activities which even the supercomputers can't do in thousands of years. So that kind of strong artificial intelligence we want to put into the machines. Logical thinking, making decisions in case of uncertainty, planning, even planning, like we humans plan our holidays or plan our lectures, plan our classes. Similarly, we want this artificial intelligence to plan itself, that how it will work in future automatically. This is self-learning things, all these things. So these are part of strong artificial intelligence. We want the machines to be as intelligent as humans. We want them to communicate with each other just like I'm communicating with you. I want a machine to communicate with you in the same way. So this is the communication in natural language as well. So I hope you understand the difference between general AI and narrow AI, where we are right now, why we are there right now. We are in narrow AI. Why we are sustaining in narrow AI? Because of the enormous amount of data points being generated by generation Z people. This is what weak artificial intelligence is, and this is where we want to go to, strong artificial intelligence. Now, this is a general brief introduction I have given about the artificial intelligence. I hope this is clear to all of you. Is there any doubt in this? I hope everybody of you is from the background of computer science or similar backgrounds, so you have the idea of it. If you don't have it, you can ask anything. I hope it is clear. I'm going ahead. Any doubt? Any doubt here?
If anyone wants to ask any question, they can ask or write in chat box as well. Else we can move ahead.
Okay, let's move ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Now we understand about the characteristics of generation Z. We understand the characteristics of artificial intelligence. Now where they converge, where we can use artificial intelligence for generation Z people. If I ask this question to all of you, that you know about your students, you know about the characteristics of your students, how you can use artificial intelligence to educate them, how you can use artificial intelligence for education. You know the characteristics, that they are social, they are interactive, they are entrepreneur. These are the characteristics of these people. This is kind of mindset they are taking up with them. Now, how you can use artificial intelligence to educate them in a way that suits their characteristics. This is what the crux of this particular lecture. This is why we are here to discuss these things. Okay, so this is just a very general slide. Everybody of us know about this, that how this artificial intelligence is impacting us in everyday life. We have seen the virtual personal assistants are there. On every website we can find out, even in the call centers nowadays, we can see that there are robots or chat boxes or chat assistants, voice assistants, which are working using artificial intelligence without any human interventions. Healthcare, we will see these areas. Okay, we will see banking area, we will see healthcare area. We will go into details of each of these areas. We can see in healthcare, we can use artificial intelligence in various ways. We will discuss about this as well. We will discuss how banking area can be, we can use artificial intelligence in banking area. And we will also use how we can use this kind of artificial intelligence for smart social interactions. Now, the focus of this particular lecture will be on generation Z only. how we can use artificial intelligence in healthcare sector for generation Z, how we can use banking, how we can use artificial intelligence in banking sector for generation Z. So this is how we will discuss this particular lecture. Now, I have asked you one question, that how AI can be used or can be utilized to educate the people of generation Z. Any idea? Anyone want to put their comments here? Because I want to just make it a little bit interactive. Like next is brainstorming session only. That how can AI help in education generation Z? How students can use artificial intelligence? Students means generation Z people. How teachers of generation Z can use artificial intelligence, and how the universities, schools and coachings can adopt artificial intelligence for targeting generation Z people. So if I ask you this question, any comment on this? I will give you 1 minute. You just think about it. I want some comments so that it becomes a little bit interactive here.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
One thing I came to know is, for conducting university examination and related evaluation, we can use artificial intelligence so that heavy burden can be reduced from the student side as well as from the university faculty side. The heavy burden can be reduced by using artificial intelligence. Most of the time can be utilized for learning and teaching. So that is the point I have to say.
That's very wonderful thing. That's actually the new concept coming into picture, known as flipped classrooms. Many of you must have heard this term, flipped classrooms coming into picture, right? Any other comment? Okay, so this is the impact of AI on generation Z. First of all, this particular point we have already discussed, that generation Z people does not see technology as transformative or revolutionary in education. Like most of the earlier generation people, whenever you see a older people, you give him or her a mobile phone with virtual chat assistant, they will be thrilled. They will see that, oh man, what's this? This is absolutely wonderful. But the generation Z people take it for granted. They don't think it is exceptional because they are seeing it from their childhood. For them, it's normal. It's not very interesting for them. It's very normal, right? So that is the first thing. The generation Z does not see technology as transformative or revolutionary in education. Instead, technology is taken for granted. Now, what generation Z people see the professor? The generation Z people see the professor as an important factor in a student's education and career development. Even the many generations that prefer teacher-led instructions. Like if you see the complete automation, generations that people does not want complete automation of the process. They does not see that they are learning from video lectures only. Even if in the COVID scenarios, we have seen that most of the lectures were online, but still many of the people of younger generation were of the view that there should be physical interaction as well, because they believe that physical interaction can give better education. So that is the another aspect. Now, generations that expect more hands-on learning experience, such as interactive applications and games. So if you give your lectures, if you design your lectures in such a way that in between there is a game, the game should be designed in such a way using artificial intelligence engine that increase their learning ability as well as engage them, because these are the people which likes more hands-on learning rather than the lectures. Earlier generation used to take the lectures, write down the notes. This generation is not like that. It is a different kind of generation. They like hands-on learning experiences. Next is generations that students feel connected to each other, even if only through technology. This is very much relevant in the times of COVID-19. We see this as a benefit, connecting them to a diverse group of learners. Now people come on the platforms. There are various forums online for different kind of learning, class 1st to class 10th, then JEE, let's suppose somebody wants to go to engineering. Everybody has a forum and they try to interact with each other. They find out the problems. They also share their problems to find out the solutions. Now, They also want to share their experience on Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. Most of the time you go to the YouTube and you see there are millions of live lectures recorded by students and uploaded on YouTube. This is a very broad characteristic of Generation Z. These people try to go as much social as possible, and they try to go as much hands-on as possible. Even if the teacher tries to control them, it's not very much easy to control them, because this is the normal characteristics of this generation. That's why this is termed as a different generation than millennials. Okay, so now you understand that these are the various things which need to be incorporated in education. Now, Generation Z makes a strong case of expanding artificial intelligence into classrooms. Technology enhanced learning, because hands-on experiences are required, because sharing is required, because discussions are required, and all these things can be done using artificial intelligence very easily. Generation Z want to see technology adopted into classrooms instead of being banned, prefer more self-directed and independent learning. Self-directed, personalized learning. Many of the times these days, the edutech applications are coming. One example is Baiju. What they do is they're advertising that we do one-to-one interaction. This one-to-one word you can see in last 5-10 years becomes a very important word in marketing. One-to-one interaction. Every application, everything. Even if you go to hospitals, when you go to coachings, everyone says we do one-to-one interaction. Why? Because this Generation Z people are more self-directed people. They don't want to learn into groups. No, I want one-to-one interaction with my teacher. That kind of thing I want. Now, can a teacher interact one-to-one with hundreds of students? Not possible. That's where AI comes into picture. That's why automated bot is taking the place of a teacher or a professor, because these people are the people which are self-directed. They want a personalized lecture designed for them. They don't want a generalized lecture for all, right? Now, AI can also be used to support establishing student learning goals and objectives by developing individualized learning strategies. Now, even if the new education policy which is coming into place, if you see this is more of a diverse kind of background, people will come at same place, because there are various provisions by which you can take courses from different domains during your degree. So that's why the more interaction will increase. If you see, these particular kind of policies are more oriented towards Generation Z people. They are more interactive kind of a people. They are more self-directed people. They don't want to constrain themselves into the curriculum of university. They want to learn as they wish. And they want personalized lessons, that I want to learn physics. At the same time, I want to learn agriculture as well. This is what I want to learn. This is my self-directed learning thing. And that's where artificial intelligence will come into picture. The use of AI tutor can gauge, process, and modify content and activity based on individual progress. This is where the AI tutor will come into picture. I think everybody is understanding why AI is very important in educating the next generation which is coming now. The role of professor is enhanced through AI by providing flexible activities through a media-rich environment, not limited to specific time and space. Now, people don't want to sit from 9:30 to 10:30. No, I want to learn in the night. I like to study in night. I like to study in morning. I like to study in evening. It's completely personalized. Just give me a rich learning experience using artificial intelligence or using technology. I will do it myself. I will do it according to my will. This is what the Generation Z thinks. This is what Generation Z wants. And this is where artificial intelligence based tutors will come into picture. And the last thing, I think everywhere you will see that sharing is the next big thing in Generation Z. They try to share everything. On social media, on WhatsApp kind of mobile applications, on YouTube, videos, different kind of sharing is required. So all these things, if you take into picture, artificial intelligence is useful in all of them. Now you understand why this lecture is oriented towards Generation Z and why artificial intelligence is very much helpful in Generation Z people. Now I will take a case study of Taiwan. Okay, this is a case study of Taiwan. Actually, in Taiwan, birth rate is very low. Okay, birth rate is very low. Now, this is one problem for education institutions because there are less amount of students coming into picture. The second problem with the Taiwanese education institutions is that there are students, but drop rates are very high. They're dropping out, even in schools, even in universities. So before 2004, they were dropping, they were going to employment, and it was not detected why they are dropping. Now, suddenly in 2005, there was a kind of teaching excellence project was implemented in Taiwan. What they will do is they will kind of analytically analyze the various kind of results of this particular person, various kind of habits of this particular person in their education institutions itself. Let's suppose I have some 5 students under me. I will monitor them, what they are doing, how much they are studying, how much marks they are getting. And accordingly, the kind of profile was created of the students to find out which particular students can drop out. Now, if you see, this is what? This is basically artificial intelligence, but on a narrow scale. We have seen the narrow, right? So that kind of a narrow scale because it is learning from data. From data, I am learning that, okay, these kind of people are there, which can be labeled as dropouts. And accordingly, my model will learn them. So accordingly, students will be monitored and they will be given interventions in the college itself. Let's suppose from the second year itself, I find out that this particular guy is showing the threats of dropping out. Then a particular psychologist or a particular counselor will be attached to that student so that that student can sort out the things. And it was found that 2005 to 2017, the drop rates were reduced. Now further in 2018, there was another project was implemented, which is called Higher Education Sprout Project. You can Google it. It is a very famous project actually. These days, very famous Higher Education Sprout Project. Now here the artificial intelligence came into picture. It is not a precision education. Every activity of the student was monitored. Every academic activity, I'm not talking about every academic activity as well as some kind of psychological activities of the students were monitored using the artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies. And according the portfolio was created that this particular student is suitable for these kind of courses, this particular student is suitable for these kind of courses. And accordingly, alert was sent to the management that, okay, these are the students which are showing these kind of threats. All these things are being done using artificial intelligence engines. Okay, this is precision education. You are finding the threats of the students and accordingly attaching them to particular courses. And accordingly, you are also attaching counselors to them so that they don't drop out. And after 2018, it was witnessed that the dropout rate drastically reduced and the achievement in education increased substantially. This is what this particular Sprout project taken into consideration predicts list of students with high dropout list, forming high dropout risk groups, clustering basically. About this is clustering, establishing communication platform, then listening to the students, expressing the concerns, and then interventions. Now, if you see, each and every step is automated here. Prediction is automated, artificial intelligence. Clustering is automated, artificial intelligence. Chat box is automated, artificial intelligence. Listening, interaction is automated, artificial intelligence. This kind of a recommendation system, artificial intelligence. And interventions is definitely a physical thing because you have to do some things. So if you see, the entire workflow is being maintained by artificial intelligence and success was enormous in Taiwan. So this is one case study in the education field where artificial intelligence was very successful. If you see these people who are coming after 2018 in education institutions, they are basically Generation Z people. They were born between 2000, they are born in 2010 only, right? 2000 to 2010, something like that. Now, why we are able to monitor them so much? Because they are generating too much of data. They are using devices, they are using social media. So because of generation of higher amount of data, we can monitor the activities, we can do the sentiment analysis, everything we can do here. So that's why the technology can enhance the education experience for Generation Z. I hope this is clear now. We are going to next sector which is health of the nation's Z people. First is education sector. I hope everybody got the idea where artificial intelligence is making a difference. Any doubt so far? Next. Okay. So next I will go to health sector. Now this is a brainstorming session. I will again give you 1 minute and I will let you think about how AI can fulfill expectations from Generation Z in health sector. Take into account the characteristics of Generation Z while answering these questions. Only you have to keep in mind the characteristics. List down important applications of AI in health sector. These are different brainstorming things. You can think about the first question. Generation Z are interactive people, social people, entrepreneur people. What kind of experience they want from health sector? We have already discussed in education that they want some kind of a personalized learning things. What kind of expectations they will have from health sector? Will they want to go to hospital for everything? No. These days, if you see, even the diagnosis centers are going to home to collect the samples for everything, not just for COVID-19, for everything. Why? Because Generation Z people don't want to go for everything to hospital. These had a different kind of characteristics. They want everything in their mobile phone on the tip of their fingers. That kind of characteristics are there in Generation Z. So how AI can fulfill expectations of Generation Z in health sector? That is one brainstorming thing that we have to think. Yeah, anyone? Okay, then I'll go ahead that how health sector is being impacted by artificial intelligence for Generation Z. So growing up tech savvy means younger generation seek the same ease from their doctors that they get from their devices. Less likely to have primary care providers and are more likely to use applications for scheduling. They don't want to go to hospitals physically. They just want that give me an application, give me a website, I will register and I will do it from home. That's it. They are also more receptive of telehealth visits than previous generations. Self-service and convenient play into Generation Z interaction with doctor offices and industry as a whole. They look to emails, texting, and applications to manage their appointments or for communication with doctors. As wearable technology continues to gain popularity, younger generation are increasingly focused on health and wellness. We have seen various, kind of nowadays watches are coming, smart watches are coming, which are maintaining your BP levels, which are taking your heart rate. All these are wearable technology only, and that advent of wearable technology has been enormous. Now, if you see all the technology which is coming into market is basically targeted towards Generation Z. It's not that the technology is coming anyhow. It's not like that. The marketing people research the characteristics of the people. They have researched about the characteristics of Generation Z people, and accordingly they have generated their product. Now this wearable technology was not there earlier. Nowadays, why it is so much popular? Because of the characteristics of Generation Z. Typically reach out to friends or online communities to ask about a particular health condition before speaking with a doctor. You can practically experience it in your home. Even before asking to a doctor, you try to find out on internet, on social media, some kind of a, advice that what can be done or what is there in this symptom. You can correlate this to your general world, your practical everyday life, right? Now you understand the characteristics of Generation Z in health sector. Now how artificial intelligence can be used in all these. These are the artificial intelligence applications in health sector. Robotic surgeries are happening, virtual nursing assistants. Even the nursing will not be there, nurses will not be there. There will be assistants, virtual assistants for nurses that you have to take medicine at 10 o'clock. Then at 10 o'clock, there will be automatically an alarm or automatically some kind of a phone call to you that you have to take medicine, please take it. Something like that. Medical image analysis, medical diagnosis, drug delivery, then complete workflow of hospital will be automated and fraud detection can be there, medication can be given. So all these things, if you see, artificial intelligence can help the generation Z people. I'll go to the case study in health sector, how artificial intelligence is being used for generation Z in health sector. So first example is Twin Health. It is a company, a startup kind of a company, which is being based on Mountain View, California. So now what these people are doing is, we know that this generation Z people are mostly, we see that non-communicable diseases are increasing in generation Z because of less physical activity and etc. etc. There are various reasons. So there are health companies targeted to generation Z people coming into picture for these kind of non-communicable diseases. So a holistic method of addressing and potentially reversing chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes through a mixture of IoT, AI, data science, and medical science and healthcare is being done by Twin Health. It's a startup. The company has created the whole body digital twin. You understand this? You are a person, your body is there. Equivalent to that body, a digital body is being created. That digital body is completely showing all the characteristics which you are showing. Now you see all the experimentation will be done on that digital body. And all the insights that you get by experimenting on this digital body can be used for medication in your physical body. You understand that kind of level of artificial intelligence is going on in next decade. So the company's twin service is dedicated to providing personalized and precise nutrition, sleep activity, breathing guidance, etc. Because your twin digital body is with the company, it can monitor it completely, and accordingly it can give you recommendations on everyday basis that this is how you are living, this is how you should not live, this is what medication you take. So that kind of technology you will see in next generation. Now you see these kind of technology are targeted towards which people? Towards generation Z people. I'll take another case study known as H2O.ai. It is also there in Mountain View, California. So it is analyzes data throughout a healthcare system to mine, automate, and predict processes. It has been used to predict ICU transfers, improve clinical workflows. So whenever a person goes into the hospital, this particular H2O.ai comes into picture. All the data, all the reports are fed into this artificial intelligence engine, and then everything is left to this artificial intelligence engine. This artificial intelligence engine will analyze your body, your reports, your traits, everything, and accordingly generate the reports for the further medication, for transfer to ICU, for everything. So if you see, artificial intelligence is completely going to revolutionize the generation Z healthcare. So this is the second area which I wanted to discuss. The third area is business and consumption. Now you understand the characteristics of generation Z. Now how AI can help in generation Z entrepreneurs, how they can market their product, how can they design their product, how they can improve the customer experience. If you understand all the characteristics of generation Z, you can design your product to ease their life according to their will, because they want personalized experience, they want one-to-one interaction, they want everything in the mobile. They are digital natives, so everything digitally they want. They are social media experts, so everything they want to share with their friends, they want to take advice from them. All these characteristics can be put into marketing team or in the product design to design products in such a way that they are targeted towards generation Z. Now the question is how artificial intelligence can be used in entire process of designing and marketing the product for generation Z. So any Any kind of comment on this? How AI can help in designing as well as marketing the product? I think everybody of you understand the characteristics. You can very easily design the marketing strategy. Now, after today's lecture, you understand the basic requirements of any startup which is coming into picture for next generation. What kind of products they want. So let's go to business kind of thing. This more pragmatic and realistic generation of consumers, we have already seen that they try to correlate information from multiple sources, and after that only they take the decisions. And they are financially minded as well. They don't throw money anyways. They first search, research, and then only buy something. So this more pragmatic and realistic generation of consumer expect to access and evaluate a broad range of information before purchase. Generation Zers analyze not only what they buy, but also very act of consuming. Now, what is the meaning of that? You heard about various cab applications, right? Uber is there, Ola is there. Now, earlier generations used to think about the product. I want to purchase a car. That was the concern of earlier generations. This particular generation is not at all concerned about the product at all. This generation is completely concerned about the process, about the service. I don't want to buy the car. What I am interested in, that I want to commute from place A to place B. Whether it is through my car or whether it is through my cab service, I don't care. So the product is not a concern here. The service is concerned. I want to go from here to there. That's all. That's what my concern is. I don't care about whether I'm going through my car or through cab. And that's why these kind of services are coming into picture. Earlier, when you used to eat, there were options like, I want to cook this food. I want to go to this particular restaurant. Now the question is not about, I want to go to this restaurant or this something like that. I want to eat something. I want to crave for this something. That's it. Order it on the application. So now product is not the concern, the service is concerned, the process is concerned. So the access becomes the new form of consumption. We don't want to buy the product, we just want to access that product. We don't want to buy the car, we just want to access the car in the form of a cab. That's it. Unlimited access to goods and service such as car riding service, video streaming service, subscription. We don't want to buy entire, complete video streaming things here. No, we just want to buy the subscription. Let's suppose Hotstar or something, and I want to see the match. That's it. That is what my concern is. Access is the concern. Product is not at all the concern. So product becomes service and service connect consumers. As collaborative consumption gains traction, people are also starting to view it as a way to generate additional income in the gig economy. I have already told you, people are financially minded, people are well connected socially. I am going from place A to B. What a general generation Z people, if you see, right now in India, we don't see the advent of these kind of things. But if you go to Western countries in America and Canada, you will find that, let's suppose a person is studying in a university, he's also working in some kind of a cafeteria, he's also working in pincher shop. So let's suppose I'm moving from my college to my home, and in between I can deliver a particular order on Swiggy. What happens? I will earn 100 rupees. That's what the mindset of this generation is. They don't care about product, they don't care about anything else, but they care about a service. And they are very much financially minded. And that's why this gig economy is coming into picture. Gig economy is basically the economy in which you hire and fire. I am a contractual thing. I will deliver your product from here to there. That's it. After that, I don't contact you, you don't contact me. That's it. Digital tools and technology reach the social media. This is something which is there in everything, social media. Comfort with analytics and data. So they do a lot of data analytics before buying anything. A large portion of Generation Z entrepreneurs, now we're moving towards entrepreneurs. This is the consumers basically, how the consumption is there. Now we are moving toward entrepreneurs, Generation Z entrepreneurs. Very young generation of entrepreneurs is coming into picture. In their teenage itself, they are doing innovations. Why they are able to create some new products? Because Generation Z is coming into picture. They have a different kind of characteristics, and to address those characteristics, different kind of products are required, which are according to their will. And for that, new kind of startups are coming up from these Generation Z entrepreneurs. A large portion of Generation Z entrepreneurs is self-taught using Google, YouTube, and other platforms. Sorry. Still, a significant chunk relies on mutual interest communities to sample ideas, get guidance, and make business decisions. So if you see, now even the learning of business is completely online. Google, YouTube, other platforms. Earlier, what used to happen, if you want to learn a business, you used to go to, some other established business, you work there. That I am getting experience for this. I want to get experience, right? Before starting my own business, I want to get experience of this. Nowadays, it is not the thing. Everything is on your tip of your fingers. Everything is available online. You don't have to go anywhere for experience. You can get experience at your home. That's what is there in Generation Z. Disruption is in the generation of DNA. They want to get innovation into picture. They don't want to do same thing again and again. They want to create startups with new innovative ideas. That's what exactly is going on in this decade. You can see every day new disruptive ideas coming into picture. Identity entrepreneurship. If you see, because of the advent of social media, there are various groups, right? And there are various social media groups. Buy and sell Delhi, buy and sell Bangalore. You must have heard these kind of groups. Now marketing is completely into these groups. They are targeted to a particular group. They are generating personalized products. For Delhi people, they are generating the product according to the Delhi's conditions. For Bangalore people, they are generating the product according to the Bangalore's conditions. And they are not marketing it on television. No, if you see the latest companies like different startups, Ola, etc., you don't see their marketing on television. Have you ever seen an ad of Ola? Or have you ever seen too much ads of Ola on television? No. What they are targeting is they are targeting on OTT platforms, or they are targeting in these kind of social media platform. Why? Because this is the new place where the Generation Z people are spending their time. And that is also personalized. The marketing is also personalized. According to the will of Delhi people, buy and sell Delhi group, they will send different kind of marketing thing. And the buy and sell Bangalore group, they will send different kind of marketing thing. Something like that. And all the purchasing and selling is also on the social commerce. All these buy and sell groups, all these marketplaces, Facebook marketplaces, everything you see, entire business is little bit shifted to what we know as social commerce. Okay. This is how artificial intelligence can be used in entire business management process. Emails, security checks, smart responses, personal voice assistants are there, automated board responses are there, automated marketing is there, complete process can be automated according to AI. Even the employers can do the analysis of behaviors of employees as well. And the employers can also put the artificial intelligence to learn the habits of particular people on social media or on the web engines, something like that. So everything can be done using artificial intelligence in business for Generation Z. This is the case study of Alibaba. Now, this is a very interesting case study, just like this, we have seen there is a twin health. Your digital twin is being created. You are not there physically, your digital twin is there, right? Similarly, what Alibaba did is very interesting. Alibaba opened its first artificial intelligence fashion store in Hong Kong. Now this fashion store has no cloth in it, has no accessory in it. Entirely working of artificial intelligence is there. There are screens on which you tap and they will just see your characteristics, they will analyze your data, and accordingly, automatically on the screens, only those products will be seen which you like. You enter in a mall and only those products are there which you like. No other product is there at all. That kind of things are coming into picture next generation. because of Generation Z. Generation Z want personalized treatment. They don't want to go to mall. They don't want to search into the places that I want to buy this t-shirt. I would like this kind of a t-shirt. No. Entire mall is being replaced by artificial intelligence fashion store. You enter in fashion store and according to your characteristics, only those products are being shown in the screens which you like. You tap on the screen and that product is yours. Automatically it will be delivered to your home. That's it, done. The store has introduced intelligent garment tags with radio frequency identification, gyro sensors, low energy Bluetooth. They stable they can enable the garment to carry its information such as color and size. The gyro sensor will recognize patterns when an item is touched, moved, and picked up. Another intriguing feature is its smart mirrors located on sales floors and changing rooms that help customers find related items along with ones picked up and also add them to virtual basket. So the entire buying is being shifted to digital. Nothing is there in the mall. So you see that kind of digital technology is going to advent for Generation Z in next coming decade. Now second last, I think the social media. I think we have discussed various traits of Generation Z, and social media is the most important thing in this Generation Z because they are multitaskers. They want to share things. They want to share everything that they do with their peers. So Generation Z shows a strong interest in accounts that align with interest or that introduce them to new ones, social media influencers. Now this particular term is very much in use, social media influencers. Because Generation Z is very much personalized in their views. They like to hear only those people which can influence them. They don't want to hear generalized news. They don't want to hear generalized comments. They just want to go with that particular influencer which attracts them, which is according to their behavior. A constant attachment to their smartphones and ability to easily learn new technologies. Use video sharing websites the most. Video sharing websites are the most used by Generation Z. Okay, this is the number one thing. And the second important thing is they play a lot of online games. This is what the characteristic of Generation Z is. Number one, they view a lot of videos. This is the highest amount of traffic on the websites right now, video sharing. The second highest traffic is online gaming. The younger generation is spending almost 4.5 hours a day on social media, while millennials estimated to spend on an average 3.8 hours. Millennials is basically who are born in 1980s. And if you see, there is almost an hour difference. 1 hour more is being spent by this generation on social media. Now, how artificial intelligence can be used? Artificial intelligence algorithms can learn their preference to suggest relevant recommendations, provide a personalized shopping experience, reduce the friction between purchase, desire, and checkout, and is more engaging with use of in-app filters, augmented reality, etc., etc. Live streams. I hope you're understanding why Generation Z is different from the prior generations, why different kind of products and technologies coming into market to target this generation only. So if you see who they follow on social networks, so this is for millennials, this is for Generation Z. So if you see the millennials who are in their 20s to 30s, most of the time they go on a memes account, or the kind of people who share my interests or hobbies. These are kind of people. But if you see Generation Z people, they are going for social media influencers. Most of them watch the social media influencers. This is what the difference is. If you see the last thing, even they are not very much interested in their politicians. That is the last thing they watch on social media. Mostly they watch the content creators, the social media influencers. Okay. What are the main reasons they visit the social media platforms? Generation Z people mostly entertainment and keeping up with friends. We have seen that they are video creators, they are sharing, they are gaming, etc., etc. So that's where they spend their time on social media. The last thing is, what are they doing more of a social media during COVID-19? So if you see Generation Z people, they are watching video or playing games. While on the other hand, if you see millennials, they are also doing almost similar activities, but on lesser extent. As Generation Z people mostly doing these things, watching video content, playing games, and checking out the feeds. Now the last section that I'm moving ahead is banking. How banking for Generation Z people is different than banking in the previous generations. In the previous generations, we used to go to bank, have a bank account, open it. We used to deposit checks, but nowadays nothing like that is happening at all. People are opening their account on the web applications or the mobile applications. They are doing entire transaction on the applications using different kind of APIs, UPIs, etc., etc. So complete banking is changed. They don't want to interact with managers too often. They want to go to the banks, but not too often. They interact with chat boxes on the banking websites and settle down their queries. One important thing is, if there is any financial fraud, if there is any fraud by the banking, even if there is a fraud by online Flipkart, Amazon, etc., you have seen people are posting it on Twitter and Facebook. That's the trait of Generation Z. Everything they do, they post. If they have a grievance, they post it on social media. And that's why the marketing people of these companies has to have the presence on social media as well. If you see the companies of Generation Z, they have presence on each and every social media platforms, and they answer to these grievances as well, even if by bots only, because that much kind of scaling is not being possible by humans. Only artificial intelligence can do these kind of replies to that scale. How banking is being impacted in Generation Z by AI. They're digital natives and chooses to align more with fintech companies rather than the traditional banking system. They don't want to go to the bank and do everything. Customers want to make informed financial decisions because they have a lot of information. I have already told you that they don't want to take any decision without going into multiple options. They go to multiple options, then they analytically decide what to do, for which they need a simplified way of learning. They are social by nature and hence expect referral program to make use of their social capital. Whenever they take loan, whenever they invest, whenever they open account on any banking thing, they take recommendations from their social media friends. Okay, this particular bank is good or not. Can I take loan from this or not? Everything is being done by recommendations. So if you see recommender system can be used, if you see decision systems can be used, if you see fintech systems, everywhere AI can be used. Generation Zers think about their needs, not about banking products and services. I have already told you, Generation Z does not care about your product, what you are selling. I have this requirement, I want to fulfill it, that's it. I don't care about your product. What is your product? By leveraging data intelligence, credit profile, account information, transaction history, etc., banks can create a complete profile of their customers. And they want a semi-autonomous experience. Semi-autonomous means to say, whenever we interacting with a AI bot, it is semi-autonomous. Means to say it's not completely autonomous. I cannot do what I want because bot little bit has constraints. There are little bit crafted questions. How may I help you? This, do you want more suggestions? Yes or no? You don't have your own answer on that. So it is a semi-automated experience. That kind of experience has been required by Generation Z in banking. So this is how banking is being disrupted by artificial intelligence. All the analysis, asset allocation, forecasting is being done by artificial intelligence. Real-time insurance, premium variation, that this guy is earning little bit more, then artificial intelligence will automatically do that kind of calculations. This guy has these kind, not just earning, this guy has these kind of skills, these kind of degrees. In future, these kind of jobs this guy can take, and accordingly this much he can earn, and accordingly this much loan I can give to that person. That kind of real-time calculations can be done by artificial intelligence. The entire process is robotic, and entire information exchange between one entity to other entity is also controlled by artificial intelligence. This is, we already know, virtual assistant, bots, social media, sentiment analysis, etc., etc. This we already know, right? This is already being done by artificial intelligence. Now, this is a case study of JP Morgan. JP Morgan is, we all know, is a very famous bank. So they have implemented one artificial intelligence system known as COIN, which is contract intelligence. Contract intelligence. Now what happens that whenever bank has to undergo a contract with any of the customer, the contract can be any credit contract can be there. Credit means to say lending, some kind of activity can be done by bank, some kind of time deposit can be there, something like that. All these are contracts. So some kind of intelligence has to be done by the bank, because before giving loans to you, let's suppose you want to take a housing loan. Now there will be inspection of the house. There will be loan officers who will see the risk in giving loans to you. There will be law officers or lawyers who will see that whether this house is occupied by someone else or have you leased out this house to someone else. That kind of legal aspects also will be seen. So all these earlier being done by lawyers or loan officers. And there were about 360,000 man hours, that much hours each year tackling the mundane tasks like interpreting commercial loan, means to say to reading the agreements, to finding out whether I can give loan to this, what kind of profile is there. Almost 360,000 hours were spent by these lawyers and loan officers. Now JP Morgan did what? They have replaced all these officers with their artificial intelligence system known as contract intelligence. So the firm has successfully managed to cut the time spent on this work down to a matter of seconds. Now earlier, the work which was done in 360,000 hours to analyze the documents of a customer, to find out the assets of the customer, to find out the legal aspects, to go to the courts and finding out the documents, everything is digitized using this intelligence, contract intelligence system. And what was being done in 360,000 hours is being done in seconds. The first stage of testing coin pattern include a review of bankers' credit. All these things are there. And how this coin system works? This coin system completely works on two things: image recognition and unsupervised learning. Image recognition is being used to read the documents, basically to finding out the patterns, and unsupervised learning is being used to clustering of the customers for this particular contracts. Okay, so this is another case study which is of HDFC Bank from India. HDFC Bank has developed an AI-based chatbot called EVA, short form of electronic virtual assistant. Now we have seen the threats of Generation Z. They don't want to go to the bank. They want personalized things, everything they want on their click of the mobile. So that's why HDFC Bank also has to adopt to Generation Z. And what they have done is they implemented a chat box called as EVA. EVA can assimilate knowledge from thousands of sources and provide simple answers in less than 0.4 seconds. Even if you call a call center and if you say that I am calling this person, I have this query, even that person will he will say that, can you hold for 5 minutes? I am getting your documents. Now this particular chatbot can do everything in 0.4 seconds. See how much faster it is and how much it is relevant to Generation Z characteristics. By using EVA, a customer can get information on products and services instantaneously. It removes the need to search, browse, call, etc. So that's very much relevant to the Generation Z. Now we are moving to the last section of this, which is concerns of artificial intelligence. We have seen how artificial intelligence can be used for Generation Z, but there are little bit concerns as well. There are little bit things which are not good for artificial intelligence. First thing is this social impact from bias of data and models are the biggest problem to tackle AI machine learning. Because the current AI is narrow AI, which is working on the base of data being generated by the people or the machines. Now that data can be biased as well. Let's suppose I am taking 10,000 data points. Out of that, 8,000 data points are from Delhi only or North India only. Then it will be completely biased to North India. South India people will not find recommendations according to their will. So that's why artificial intelligence has social impacts of bias. And privacy is getting lost. That's why privacy becomes a concern in recent past. Because every of your activity, even while our mobile phone is off, we are not using any social media, our voice is maybe recorded. Many times you might have found that you are speaking something to your friend and your mobile is sitting there on a table, and suddenly after 5 minutes or an hour you will see the ads coming related to what you have said. So everything is under scanner. So privacy is being lost. That is a concern of AI. Jobs are being lost. Obviously, Generation Z people are very kind of a tech savvy people, but at the same time, because of that, all the manual jobs will be lost. If you see here, 360,000 man hours of work is being lost because of this coin system. Deep fakes, everybody of us understand, because of the enormous presence of Generation Z on social media and enormous sharing is there. So the deep fakes are coming into picture. These are basically the false videos and pictures of the people. AI can be used for weapon automation, for destruction as well. Fake media, disinformation, all these things are reality in this current world because of the enormous amount of AI automation. Now, this is a brainstorming. This is the last thing. This is the brainstorming. Now, I will give you 2 minutes to think about this. That all these are concerns of AI. Can you eliminate these concerns? Can you design a system in such a way that these concerns can be taken? Or which particular stakeholders' involvement is required to address these concerns? Because you alone cannot address all these concerns. There has to be something done from the policy point of view from the government. There has to something to be done from the organization point of view from the organization management. Something has to be done by users as well. All these stakeholders has to be there to address these concerns. Privacy policies are coming from, data safety policies are coming from the government. Similarly, there are information security officers are being appointed by the organizations. And similarly, a particular user also has the responsibility of digital literacy. That they must be literate enough to using the digital devices. They should not use it randomly. They should not post any picture on the social media. They should not go to any website. Otherwise, their identity can be, stolen. So all these things are there. This is the last case study of this particular lecture, farm-wise study. With the onset of COVID-19, the critical importance of food and its supply chain and the risk of having workers physically present to complete the needed task is a solid opportunity for some robots. We have seen that this is not much relevant to the village people. Because most of the reverse migration happened in COVID-19, most of the people went from cities to their homes in villages, worked on their farms. But in the more developed countries, in the Western countries, we have seen that because of lack of manpower, the robots are taking place of the humans in the farm activity as well. The startups such as farm-wise seasonal forecasting models can boost production, and robots automate much of the farming. Now, if you see, the robots are coming into picture and complete farming will be done by robots. So this is what is coming in future. So they created robots that can weed a field of crops large enough to feed 4 lakh people per robot. Now, if you see, there is a very huge land. And if let's suppose a person wants to weed out that particular field, eliminate the weed on that, it will take almost a month. And this robot is doing in 1 day or 2 days itself. So robotics will help in farm sector as well. So that kind of future we can see. So that's all about what the Generation Z will be impacted by artificial intelligence in every aspect of their life. They have different characteristics. They are different kind of people. They are different kind of experience they require. And that's why different kind of companies, different kind of startups coming into picture. And that's why in education sector as well, different kind of technology and different kind of processes need to be there in the picture. That's all on the discussion. The last is exercise. I will leave it to you. And this is all from my side. If you have any question, you can ask right away. Or if there is no question, then you can just see this exercise. You can note down this. You can do it at your home as well. This is a brainstorming exercise actually. after every lecture, this brainstorming is very important so that whatever you have learned can be used in practical implementations. So I have given 3 exercises which are very much practical. This is not a theoretical exercise. Consider yourself as Generation Z member. First of all, you have to consider yourself as Generation Z member, that is student. Think all the activities and digital technology involved in it. What kind of different activities you do in a day, and how much digital technology you use to doing that activities, and how can artificial intelligence help in each such activity. That is first exercise. Second is consider yourself as teacher or professor. How can better lecture delivery possible to Generation Z students using artificial intelligence? And the third is consider yourself as administrator of your college or university. Enumerate activities where artificial intelligence can add to the value to ecosystem of your institution for Generation Z people. Because right now, Generation Z people are the students actually. So all these are very practical things. You think about these things and you can implement these in your education institutions as well. And these kind of information can help you in designing new products or building up new startups for Generation Z in coming times. So both way it is useful to you as a teacher as well, as an administrator as well, as an entrepreneur as well. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So if anyone wants to ask any question,
All right. So if there is no question, then we will finish it off. I will share the presentations with the students, and I'll share it on mail with the Veji, right? Yeah, Jugalji, I will share it with you. You can share it with the other members. Jugalji, you are not audible actually. The voice is breaking. So I hope, lastly, that all of you must have got some kind of insights about the Generation Z and how artificial intelligence is changing the world of Generation Z and the coming up things.
can you hear me, sir? Am I audible?
Yeah. Now it's audible.
Yeah, because there is some internet connection problem, I guess. So I was telling like the session was really very nice, sir, and it was different. So we got to know so many different new things. I hope all the participants might have enjoyed your session, and we are really very grateful to have you, sir, in our FDP course. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure to be here and delivering a lecture. And thank you very much and have a nice day.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.